Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 123 of Build Your Stash and Craft. This week we are going to make our own fabric washi tape, and I saw Gail, I'm going to try this, Agostinelli, Gail A, do this, and I thought it was just really cool. And right before I had seen her do this, I had used some fabric washi that I had got at the Dollar Tree, but they don't have it anymore. And it's really nice and sturdy. The fabric makes it so much sturdier. And I was thinking I wished we had it for our, that they still had it at the Dollar Tree, because we'd get it for our stash. And then very shortly after that, I saw Gail do this. And so what this is carpet tape from Walmart. And I believe it was I think it was $5.50. And so we used, it was $5.50. So we used 50 cents out of our bank. But what you're going to want to do, because these edges are very, very sticky, there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, when I set this down, I'm going to make sure I set it on my parchment that I have here, because I don't want it to stick to something else, and it will. But you can also take a little bit of baby powder or cornstarch while it's completely, while it's rolled up like this, and just brush it on the edges, and that will take the stick away from the edge. If you've got any kind of double-sided tape, that works. You just don't want to do it like when your roll is loose or anything, because you don't want that to get down inside, which your roll shouldn't be loose anyways. But if you put a little bit of, when I'm done here, I will probably put a little cornstarch around the edge of both sides, so that I don't have to worry about it sticking to anything if I set it down. So, but yeah, I remember what it was. I was working on a journal, and I had put the fabric washi in there because I really needed some stability. And so the fabric gives it extra stability. Now this tape has a little bit of a mesh look to it. So, and it's about 1.5 inches wide, which is really kind of a nice width, because it's wide enough to use it wide, but not too big. And also you can cut it down the middle, and it would be about the size of an average piece of washi tape. So what you're going to want to do is just decide how long you want to make them. I wouldn't make them too long. You have to store them. And also, you want different varieties. So if you don't make it too long, then you can make all different types. So I've just got out here lots of little bits of the fabric that we have stamped, and we coffee dyed and tea dyed. I'm going to cut it about 12 inches. Oh, and I saw another lady, because that just kind of stuck to my scissors. Saw another lady making it, and what she did was, after she peeled it off, she put a piece of fabric right across the end, like this. And then what she did was she cut right down the middle of the fabric, so she wasn't cutting on the sticky stuff. So that's a really good way to cut it, is put fabric on it first and then cut it off your roll, and you won't get the sticky on your scissors. If you get sticky on your scissors, I clean it off with my rubbing alcohol. But so basically this is just going to be like a collage fabric washi tape. And so that's what makes it really cool. Now this is, I kind of want like really skinny bits. So I'm going to take some of this that we made a while back when we made our dyed fabrics, and I'm going to make it skinnier. There we go. And I liked the rip edges the best, but if you don't like the rip edges, then just go ahead and cut it. And you can do it either way. You can do it the long way, you can do it the short way, you can do it a combination of both. So I'm going to just start. I'm going to let it hang over the edge just a little bit, because I can always cut that off later, and then I don't have to worry about the stickies. So I'm just going to basically just add in different things that I think will look good. And I wanted to also remind you, when you have extra paint left over, no matter what you're doing, you got a little paint in your palette or whatever, you can always take a piece of your sheet and just rub it in the different colors of the paint and get it wet first, and then you'll have painted fabric, which also is really quite cool. So don't you don't have to just throw it away, wipe it out with a paper towel or something. Go ahead and use it on your fabric and on your paper. So now I'm not going to overlap these much. I'm going to overlap it a little bit because I don't want, you know, any sticky hanging out. But I'm not going to overlap it a lot because if you overlap it too much, what will happen is then it's not stuck down. You could always go glue it down if you wanted to, but I prefer to just not overlap them too much, and then I don't have to worry about that. So, but this is just, it's a really nice thing to have, and it works really good like on spines and that type of thing in your journals, something that you're trying to hold together. And you can do it with fabric. You can do it with anything that you have. You can put down, let me have another little piece of this blue. Put down a little piece of your fabric, but I'm going to leave a little gap between this cream colored one I just put down and this fabric that I'm putting down here. So I'm going to leave just a little bit of a gap between them, and then take a little piece of yarn and stick that down in there, because that gives you some interest, makes it a little bit different. And you can add ribbon on there, you can add your stamped words on there. Now this stamped word, I would have to decide now, what do I want to do? Because this stamped word is not as wide as my cloth, but it's a little bit too wide to have extra. Let me try this one. This one's skinnier. Okay, this one has a little bit of extra. So first I'm going to move down a little bit more in this bright color frame, and I really wished I wouldn't have put that cream colored one in there, but what I'll do is I'll stamp on that one. And that way, and I'll stamp on it in a color. Or I'll just use a paintbrush and a little bit of my dyes, and I'll just dye it because it just looks kind of funny there. But then again, it all depends on what you're looking for. So maybe, you know, have a mix of patterns and a mix of widths, so you don't have, I'm kind of doing these all the same width, but really it'd be really interesting to have different widths on it. I just think that that is really pretty. And then if you like typically make a book that's, let's say you fold your 8.5 by 11 in half, and that's how you usually make your books, then what you can do is make your bits about 6 inches long. That'll give you a little bit to play with if you want to put it across your page. But also if you're going to do them 8.5 by 11 and you want to put it up and down like along a spine, then you'll want to make sure that you have 8.5 inches available to use. So think about that when you're making them too. If you make a bunch 6 inches and then start thinking, oh, I wish I could use this on my spine, but now it's not long enough. So I am just going to, what was I going to do? I don't know. Oh, I was going to take my Skinny Love. I'm going to take this one, although it's too, I don't want it as long as it is, so I'm going to rip it so that it's about the same on each end. And then I'm going to put it right there. Now it's not wide enough, but I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to take some fibers. Let me just grab some fibers here. If I can find the end of it. And I'm just going to take this fiber and just kind of frame it, because this stuff is really, really tacky. It really grabs a hold and pretty much hangs on. And then also you've got the same thing with your books. It's really sturdy, but you can use it on anything. You can use it on a tag, you can use it on absolutely anything, but whatever you use it on, it's going to be sturdy, and then the fabric itself is going to make it even sturdier because fabric doesn't rip like paper or tissue. And you can also use this with your tissue paper and stamp on your tissue paper and then stick your tissue paper on this. And behind it, you'll have this cool texture of the tape. Okay, so I've gone around it twice, so I'll just cut it off right there. And then stick that down. Now, if you've got a spot like right here where I want to stick this, I've already got a little bit of fiber there, so I'm going to have to kind of try and pull it and get to that next spot right there that doesn't have anything already stuck to it. And so there we go. And I should have really just cut this before I started. I'm going to kind of peel this back just a little bit and cut it close, and then push that back down. And you're going to want to give it a good press, especially something that's so fluffy like this. Now, I didn't have enough extra tape here on the edge to grab this piece. So what I'll do when I'm done is I'll just go in and I will add just a little bit of glue under there. And I'll just glue it. I'll just put a little bit of glue just right here on this bit of yarn, and then I will just push that down. And then this piece I came over onto my fabric instead of onto the tape, so I will glue that down. So if you have any spots that are a little bit loose, you can go ahead and do that. But isn't that just the cutest little embellishment? And now you've got this in nice, really strong tape, so you could put this like on the cover of a journal or something. I really like the way that that one turned out. I think that's very cool. So, but you can use it with paper. You know, it's not just for fabric. I'm going to cut off this part right here because it has so much fiber on it that nothing's going to stick there. So I'm going to cut that off. Being that might as well make it the same on both ends. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, being that it's so wide, you can cut it into shapes. You know, you can use it to make stickers or something like that. But I'm going to just take this piece of tissue paper and put it over top. Like that. And then if you're going to color on it, I personally would use watercolor markers, you know, like kids markers or any kind of markers. I would not use alcohol markers because I do use rubbing alcohol to clean my scissors, and it does take the sticky off my scissors. So if you used alcohol markers like on this tissue paper that's here, what might happen is that might take the sticky away because the alcohol markers do have a solvent in them. But even that is kind of cute with the tissue paper on top, just pushing those music notes back. And then I think this would look really cute distressed with some distress stains. So that's as simple as it is. I mean, it's not rocket science or anything, but I thought that it was really great when I saw it because I had been wanting some. So I think that you'll get a lot of use out of this. I know that I'm going to, because I really do like the fabric tape. And if you ran your strips this way, it would be even stronger. So, you know, just play around with it and, you know, see which way you like it. But it turns out really cute. It's going to be a nice strong tape, and then you can just trim it up and you could use these little snippets on another piece of the tape and make it like a patchwork. You have all these little tiny pieces that you could use. And once you get the fabric on the tape, and then you have to cut it into whatever size you want it, it won't make your scissors as sticky. Now, the one thing, Gail did try sewing on it, and sewing does not work. The stickiness on it is way too sticky, and it gummed up her sewing machine. So that's something that I am now not going to try, since she did and gave us fair warning that it doesn't, your sewing machines don't like this type of tape. But there we go. Isn't that just the cutest little piece of fabric tape? And cute little embellishments. You can add anything on them that you want to. You can put paper on them if you want to. Now, I usually do stamping and paper and tissue and stuff on tissue tape or masking tape to make my own. But this one, you know, I can't stick music notes to my masking tape. So, you know, because the top side is not sticky. So it's very cool to make any type of project that you might want to make. So this was a really quick one this week, but I just thought it was something that really would help you in your crafting and give you something different to play with. And also, the double-sided heavy-duty tape like this really works well, you know, if you have, you know, something that you're constructing and you want to stick it with something, you know, this works really well too. It's made to hold down carpet, so it's pretty heavy-duty. And so I will just show you what we're going to need for next week. For next week, we're going to pick up these craft sticks from the Dollar Tree for $1. Now, these ones are a little fatter than a normal popsicle stick, but if you can't find, you know, the fatter ones, you can just get the popsicle sticks. Either one will work just as well as the other. So, and that's all we're going to need to pick up for next week. So we currently have, let's see here, we have $30 in our bank. So we're going to add $4 to our bank, so we will have $34 in our bank. And that's what we're going to need for next week. Just the little craft sticks that are a little bit fatter if you can find them, or regular if you can't. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's really fun to make, really fun to use in your projects, and I hope that you get a lot of use out of it. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.